Follow your passion. Sounds like the perfect phrase to motivate someone who's been doubting their goals. Even though we all know that it's much easier said than done, it's a piece of advice that all of us have heard way too many times and even given to others around us at least once. But every time someone said this to me, I was so confused as to what they wished for me to follow. And I kept thinking, I have time, I'll figure it out soon enough. Until I reached a stage in my life where almost everyone around me had something to be passionate about. A subject, a social issue, an idea, an activity, a sport, anything. While I still had nothing. A lot of hobbies, sure, but a passion, I don't know. I felt this daunting pressure on me, a 17-year-old, to find a passion. Am I doing something wrong? What am I supposed to do? How do I find a passion? Do I even have a passion? These questions were bothering me way too much. And then I thought, as teenagers, when we say that we found our passion, have we really found it, or are we just fooling ourselves? If you've never given this a thought, this might be an eye-opener. So let's start with a mundane insight on the difference between a hobby and a passion. So recently, as I was spiraling down a vortex of self-introspection, I realized that these two words actually hold very different meanings. We often use them interchangeably, but the word hobby is relatively casual and passion itself sounds stronger. A hobby is not permanent. Your hobby may be so today and it may not be so tomorrow. But a passion is something that you want to live with for the rest of your life. It's something that makes you feel alive even on your toughest days. Something that you can just absorb into. Moreover, you cannot find a passion directly. It goes through the stage of being just a hobby to you first, and then it's up to you to mold it into a passion. Let's also not confuse passion with profession, as a lot of people do. Following your passion is not the same as taking it up as your career. You can be a lawyer and still be passionate about music. Now, I don't think that I've found my passion yet. And I think the reason for that is because growing up, I have dabbled into a lot of activities and I never crossed the finish line with any of them. Like, I used to learn semi-classical dance, which I gave up 3 years later. I played basketball for a while, which probably most of my friends don't even know about because I never achieved a benchmark with it. And I'm fine with that because maybe it just wasn't for me. I played badminton for a longer time though, and I truly enjoyed it. I've had my years when I was so into poem writing. I participated in singing competitions. I've also taken art classes for most of my childhood. But then eventually, there just wasn't time for anything anymore. So now, after shuffling through all of these hobbies, I question myself, asking why I can't commit to one of these. And after a lot of self-analysis, I arrived at the conclusion that I don't need to blame myself for it. Because how do you develop a hobby? You try things out, you explore, and this should take as long as it needs, right? Because at the end of it, even if you haven't found a winner, you will have experienced a bunch of different areas. And how amazing is that? Getting to be a jack of all trades. I realized that I need to take this up optimistically and tell myself that I'm still in that process, which is not as simple as just telling yourself that it's okay. Of course, I cannot figure out guidelines to finding your passion, but what I did figure out is how to stay on the right track. Here are 4 things I learned that really eased me. Firstly, hobbies cannot be fit into a timetable. I wasn't going to prioritize a hobby over my academics, of course, but I still wanted to make some time for it. We all have at least one festival in the whole year that we really look forward to because it's a temporary escape from our daily routines. Timetables might be very hard to manage, but traditions are really easy to follow. If you have a fixed time of the day or the week that you've dedicated to doing something, that is great. But I tried telling myself that I would sketch or paint once in a month and it did not work out. So if you're like me, try what I did. Create traditions. Art is a hobby that makes me happy. I embrace the artist in me every year when I make birthday cards for my cousins. Yes, it can be something so little as making a birthday card. This ensures that I stay in touch with the hobby that I am most passionate about. Because to me, it becomes a getaway from the busyness of the rest of the year. Hobbies do not need a regimented schedule to be followed. The second lesson I learned is accepting that I cannot do everything. But this acceptance does not mean giving up before shooting your best shot. Not everyone can do everything that others can. The process of the search for passion is a very subjective one. It's unique to everyone's own thoughts and ideas. Something that my class 12 psychology textbook taught me is that in order for you to be happy with what you do in life and for you to excel, your intelligence, personality, interest, and aptitude are 4 attributes that need to be aligned. Knowing your strengths and your limitations really helps you figure out a boundary to a vast imagination. The reason why I keep talking about art out of all the other things I've tried is because I feel that somewhere out of all of my options and within my own capabilities, it is what truly speaks to me. But I can't say that it's my passion yet because I feel the same way about dance. My personality has undergone a huge and very significant metamorphosis in this last year. And my biggest accomplishment is the third lesson I learned. I stopped having regrets, more or less. Like I said, dance is another hobby that makes me really happy. After not participating in any performances for 2 years, I was asked to join a school dance at the end of 11th grade. I thought it would be my last school performance, so I took it up without giving it much thought. And for the first week, I was so upset with how it took up so much of my time. I had tests going on and I could not do my best. And the guilt from that weighed down on me and it made me reluctant to attend further practices. And then I thought, I was already here. I was already neck deep into this and there was no point backing out of it now. So why not just keep my worries aside and literally just live in the moment? Now looking back at it just 2 months later, I am so glad that I decided to participate. I not only have such happy memories of it, but I also learned something so important that I could have otherwise missed. I saw how overthinking the repercussions of my decision was taking a toll on me, and I decided not to have regrets. Self-doubt not only clouds your chance at enjoying an experience, but it also clouds your ability to grasp what you have to take away from an experience. Exploration is a huge part of this search for passion. But the search is only going to get longer if you fail to retain the essence of every attempt at exploration. That brings me to the last lesson I learned, appreciating how far I've come. I learned to be grateful for the experience. Even while developing this talk, I kept thinking about all the problems and all the negatives associated with not having a passion and having a lot of hobbies, until I thought about the positive sides and all the things that I'm happy with. The glass half full ideology really helped me look at the brighter side of things. And now looking back at it, all of it, everything that has happened, especially in this last year, I'm proud of it for making me who I am today. It turned my guilt trip into a journey to gratitude. And in the end, that is what counts. When you talk about finding your passion, you mean finding yourself. And what is important to note here is that this is not a maze that you have to frantically get out of. It's really just an open field that you have to patiently skim through. So coming back to how it all started, no, I have not found my passion yet. And it's a work in progress. After these 4 lessons, I am actually content with that. So you need to know that you need to stop rushing it. You don't have to be in a rush to explore all of your options in a haste to find what's worthwhile to you. You don't have to run to your passion. It will come to you when you are ready for it.